Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're interested in the tech industry or gaming, you might have heard about a major legal battle that's been unfolding between Microsoft and the Federal Trade Commission. In case you're not familiar with the situation, let me give you a quick rundown. Microsoft, one of the largest tech companies, has proposed acquiring Activision Blizzard, a major player in the gaming industry known for franchises like Call of Duty, Overwatch, and of course World of Warcraft. However, the FTC has filed a lawsuit to block the merger, citing concerns about competition in the gaming industry. This has sparked a legal battle between Microsoft and the FTC that could have broader implications for competition in the tech industry and how government agencies also regulate the tech industry. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the background of this case, Microsoft's response to the FTC's lawsuit, the role of the FTC in protecting consumers and promoting competition, and the potential outcome of this legal battle. So what's really going on here? To understand the context of this legal battle, we really need to go back to when Microsoft announced its plans to acquire Activision Blizzard. When this news first broke, many people in the gaming community and beyond had questions about how this merger would affect competition in the industry. Would Microsoft use its control of popular franchises like Call of Duty to limit access to these games on competing platforms in order to promote its own Xbox consoles and obviously the Game Pass as well? These concerns caught the attention of the FTC, an independent government organisation that is tasked with protecting consumers and promoting competition in the marketplace. The FTC filed a lawsuit to block the merger, arguing that it could harm competition and ultimately lead to higher prices and less choice for consumers. Microsoft, on the other hand, has defended the merger and argued that it would not make financial sense to limit access to the Call of Duty on other platforms, as a significant portion of the game's revenue comes from sales on other consoles. Microsoft has also pointed to titles like The Elder Scrolls Online as an example of games that have remained accessible on multiple platforms, showing that exclusivity is harmful to multiplayer games that rely on a large player base. When the FTC announced its lawsuit to block the merger, Microsoft responded with a 37-page document that contains some strong accusations against the agency. Microsoft accused the FTC of violating the US Constitution, specifically the powers of the Fifth Amendment right to due process. In the initial response, Microsoft argued that the FTC's structure with an in-house court was a violation of the separate of powers, and the agency had perjured the merits of the case and was denying Microsoft its right to due process. However, in a revised statement, Microsoft removed these constitutional arguments from its response and instead focused on its other defense of the merger. Microsoft appears to have taken a more measured approach in this revised statement, and a spokesperson for the company admitted, "We should have dropped those defenses before we filed." Yeah, because you're just going to piss the FTC off more by doing that. So why is the FTC so concerned about the merger in an independent government agency? The FTC's main role is to protect consumers and promote competition in the marketplace. To do this, the FTC has the authority to take action against companies that engage in anti-competitive business practices such as monopolizing or price fixing. The FTC can also review mergers and acquisitions to ensure that they do not harm competition and consumer choices. The FTC has been particularly active in the gaming industry in recent years, investigating issues such as loot boxes and blocking proposed mergers, as well as levying a record-breaking penalty against Epic Games. That was a staggering penalty. I think it was like a few $100 million if I remember correctly. Given these actions, it's not surprising that the FTC would want to take a closer look at the proposed Activision Blizzard merger, given the concerns about Microsoft potentially using its control of popular franchises to limit competition and choice for consumers. So, where does this legal battle stand right now? Well, it's difficult to say for sure, as this case is still ongoing. It's possible that the parties could come to an agreement or a settlement, or the case could go to court. If the case does go to court, it will be up to the judge to decide whether or not blocking the merger. The judge will consider the arguments and evidence presented by both sides and ultimately make a ruling based on what they believe is the best interest of consumers and competition. It's worth noting that the outcome of this case could have broader implications for the tech industry and how government agencies regulate big tech companies. If the FTC is successful in blocking the merger, it could set a precedent for future cases involving tech companies and mergers. On the other hand, if Microsoft is allowed to proceed with the acquisition, it could be seen as a sign that the government is more willing to allow big tech companies to grow through acquisitions. Regardless of the outcome, it is important to keep an eye on this case as it develops, as it could have significant implications for the tech company industry and how we think about competition and regulation. So to wrap things up here, the FTC has filed a lawsuit to block Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard, citing concerns about competition in the gaming industry. Microsoft's initial response with some strong accusations against the FTC, but later revived its statement and removed its constitutional arguments. The FTC is an independent government agency that is responsible for protecting consumers and promoting competition, and has been active in the gaming industry in recent years. The outcome of this legal battle is still uncertain, and it will be interesting to see how it plays out and what the final ruling will be. Whether you're a gamer or just interested in the tech agency, this case is worth keeping an eye on, as it could have significant implications, and I do not think that this case will be over soon. I do think it will drag on for quite a while, but I want to know what you think. So drop a comment below and let me know what your thought process is on this. Should Microsoft be allowed to acquire Activision Blizzard, or should they not? Is it anti-competitive laws? Will they grow too big? We'll have to see, but drop a comment below. If you liked what you heard, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you on the next one.